Hello, guys. This is my dark spot, and my name is Brankita. I have the honor of talking to Brett of Ignite. Hi, Brett. How do you feel today?
I'm okay, except it's raining outside. Normally, we have sunny weather here in Southern California, but today, me and the dogs are inside because it's too wet outside.
You're just chilling, right?
Exactly. Sitting on the couch, watching some TV. Yep, hanging
Netflix,
out today.
Netflix, dogs, and chill, right?
Exactly, right?
Cool, cool. And I wanted to mention that the band has a long history and it sounds better than ever. What do you
Thank you.
consider the most important factor in this? You're welcome.
Well, so we've been in a band for a long time. It's almost 30 years now. And I think for any band, styles and trends and fashion and all that stuff changes and comes and goes. At the end of the day, it really comes down to your songs. Um, from any band, from the Beatles to Iron Maiden, it's you have to have songs, I think, to have a long career in music. And yeah, and I think that's the most important thing. And we have always focused a lot on our songwriting. Just to make all of our albums feel like every song is as important as possible.
Exactly. And I feel that's a difficult job. It's very challenging. How difficult is that for you, to maintain that tempo and to make every song sounds great just the way you want it?
It's just a lot of work, and
Yeah.
that's what we've done for the entire time we've been doing Ignite is, work hard at writing these songs. And sometimes for Ignite, it takes a little bit too long in between albums. But yeah, I just think, you just got to work hard. You got to spend time doing it. And that's really what it comes down to is the amount of time you put into working on music.
Exactly. Yes, I have just commenting on your albums with my friends, and basically no bad song, no bad album, and like I cannot say that for all the bands, honestly, because I can basically put that on repeat, and I cannot really say there are a few bands and albums I can have on repeat. I don't know, such as Alice in Chains, Mad Season, Nine Inch Nails, Typo
Yeah,
Negative, and okay, there are others, but like we don't have time to mention all them, but you know
right.
what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's very nice. That's very nice to say.
you're welcome. I just feel like that, definitely. And tell me about the situation before forming the band, those early days. Can you compare the situation? Like when you get back to the early days, can you compare it to today's situation? How does it feel like when you remember, oh my God, like it was long, long time ago?
Well, we were young. I was in my early 20s, and it was just starting more as something for fun, a hobby with no really big dreams of like touring the world or making albums or doing it for more than 20 years. That was never really the focus at the beginning. And when we started, it was really just the perfect time, I think, to start a hardcore band or a punk rock band. Um, Back in 91, 92, 93, when we started, all of this heavy music was really coming into the mainstream. You had Metallica Black Album, you had the entire Seattle thing happening,
Yeah,
you had, yeah,
exactly.
the Nirvana Nevermind. So it was opening all of these doors for bands, playing heavier music. Rage Against the Machine, Pantera, all these bands were being signed to major labels then, and they were really heavy bands. And by 1993, you know, Offspring, Green Day, Rancid, Pennywise, Bad Religion, all these bands started becoming huge and getting mainstream success. So it was really all of those bands that opened the doors for all of the hardcore bands to travel the world, to put out albums on bigger labels. And so the timing was really good for us at the beginning. And but it was a different time because technology was not there. We didn't have cell phones, we didn't have internet, so it was very slow, to be honest, the whole process. For Ignite, when we started, we just did it with a demo tape that we sold at local record stores. And that's how we built the local following. And then just through conversations and friends and business acquaintances did we get the lucky chance to have a record come out in Europe. So it was a lot of hard work, but also some luck along the way. And it was a very different time then.
Yeah, I was just also talking to some bands recently. I feel like this kind of, technology progress isn't always that good. I feel like still it was much easier back then. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, people were working hard. You know it by yourself as well. But still, like, with all this AI kind of a thing, it makes things, I feel much, harder for the artist. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think personally, technology now that we have all of our entire record collection in our pocket now on our phone, and the opportunity to discover any band around the world in really a matter of minutes on your phone just by looking. I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool that people from every. I mean, on Spotify, we get the reports at the end of the year, and it says 150 countries are listening to Ignite, and I think we've played maybe 47 or 48 countries. So there's still over 100 countries that listen to Ignite that we've never been to. And this is all because of technology. This is all because of streaming music. And I think it's amazing. It's really, I think it's enabled people to discover bands in
Uh,
everywhere around the world.
But on the other hand, I feel like it also has those disadvantages, such as for me, it's very hard to, discover some interesting bands. Like there's so many good bands, and
Yeah.
not all of them, get the attention, they deserve. You know what I mean? So luckily, when I started doing interviews, I was like, oh my God, what about this band? Like, still like okay like technology can help us discover, but on the other hand, so many bands are under like
Yeah.
hiding in the shadows, and they will probably never get a chance to get popular. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's the same story from the beginning. It's just
Yeah.
there's always been a lot of music, and it's always been difficult to make yourself known in music. So I mean, bands just have to work hard, write good songs, work at it every day, try and promote themselves, try and market it. That aspect is not changed. It's just the vehicle in which it happens is different now. You know,
Yeah, I know. Yes, so always there is a good and bad side to everything, I guess, right?
for sure, always.
Yeah. And tell me about your biggest influences and how did their work reflect on the band and you? What are
Well,
your thoughts?
yeah, I mean, personally, my influences started like with my parents' vinyl collection. When I was a little kid, 9, 10 years old, looking at this big pile of records in the living room that my dad and mom had Beatles and Stones and Led Zeppelin and the Doors and yeah, just a lot of classic rock that I was exposed to at a very early age, and I would sit there with the big headphones on, with the big coilies cord, listening to some of the best music ever written, by the Beatles and the Stones, and yeah, my dad liked Band on the Run, Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, the Eagles, so I was listening
Classics,
at an
right?
yeah, the classics. I was listening to the classics at an early age, so I definitely had a influence towards rock growing up. But then, when I got to high school, I was into more like the British kind of gothic stuff, like
Oh,
Joy Division and
yes.
Bauhaus and the Chameleons and the Cure. So that was the kind of music that initially got me really excited about discovering my own bands and not just listening to my parents' music. And then, yeah, and then from then on, I got interested in actually playing music.
Wow, yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, and when you mentioned those bands, you won't believe it, but like I started watching some TV shows only because awesome soundtracks. Like, it wasn't so much about the show, no matter how good is it, it was just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like look, Sisters of Mercy, like Joy Division, that I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it.
Totally. Yeah. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally. Same thing. Just you never know what's gonna like attract you to music.
Yeah, sometimes I feel they make such a good TV show, but they ruin it with music choice. I was like, how is that possible? Almost perfect, but nah, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Bad music can ruin many things.
definitely, yeah. And tell me, I mean, in your songs, you deal with very important topics, and can you comment on the songs that are the most important for you?
Well, I mean, Ignite from the beginning, been a pretty political, social conscious band,
Yeah,
and that's been something that's kind of stayed true throughout the history of the band from the beginnings to every one of our albums and to today. So it's just something that a lot of our lyrics are personal lyrics also, but a lot of our stuff is touches on political and social issues, which is you know bands can write whatever they want to write about, but I think for Ignite, it's just important if we feel there's something that's going on in society that we feel needs to be, addressed, then I think that, we're in a great position to, you know, make it visible to people, to our fans anyways, So,
yeah.
yeah, we've always felt we've had a responsibility to bring up certain issues.
I agree on that. To deal with something that's happening right now, something that is important for all the people, I believe, and something that every person can relate to. I feel,
Yeah,
that's
totally,
yeah,
totally. Like on our album, the song "This Day" our singer Eli wrote it, and it deals with the racial tensions of the last couple years, and it's something that he felt was important to talk about. And the song, in his words, was like a hopeful call for unity, and yeah, and so it's just like it's things like that that we feel that are important to bring up.
yeah. I also wanted to mention something. Recently, I had an interview with a great band, Welcome to Holyland. They are from Belgium, and
Okay.
they're some kind of sludgy, doom metal, but
Okay.
very very good. And they also put some parts of elements of Navajo tribe, so, some elements of that to their song.
Yep.
Like the woman from the tribe is singing, some parts in their song, and I thought it was amazing actually. So they were honoring Navajo tribe. How do you feel about that? And do you consider doing something like that with your band in the future? Because I feel like there is an important message, you know, to all of us.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool way to go about it. I mean, I never know. We never know what exactly you know issues we're going to be bringing up. I mean, a lot of things that we see in the news inspire us to write. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world today. In the Ukraine, and I don't know. Not only that, but we have problems with poverty. We have people starving all around the world. So I mean, there's so many different things that you could address and put light onto that could maybe help at some point for people somebody to see and or hear and want to contribute in a positive way to a negative situation.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, with that one. And how challenging was the search for the new vocalist, back then? And generally, your situation when you come back to, when you start remembering that period.
Well, it was a very interesting period because when Zoe quit the band, we went pretty much directly into this pandemic, and so we had some time. No bands were touring at that time. We wanted to write a new album anyways, so we needed at least a year to write and record, find a singer. So it was kind of the perfect time for everything to happen for us. And then, we just wanted to. It was important for us, we wanted to have fun doing music together again. And the guys in the band, myself, Nick, Craig, and Kevin, everybody's been in doing this band for more than 25 years. So we have more than 100 years of Ignite together.
Yeah,
And we just wanted to get out, play the songs that we have written over the years, enjoy being in a band together again, and keep like kind of have a new positive feeling of the band. So when we started trying out guys, it was a little bit difficult because the pandemic was going on and we couldn't really get together with many people. But Eli ended up being a friend of our drummers, and he contacted him, and yeah, he was interested in trying out. So it was actually very smooth and pretty simple, the whole process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When it comes to the outcome, yes, I guess. Yeah, I heard many bands were suffering. I mean, generally all the people, but also a lot of musicians because of the pandemic, because of touring and all the other things. But on the other hand, I was speaking to a lot of people, and a lot of them told me, dude, we wrote the most beautiful songs during the pandemic. Like they were
Yeah.
all working. Yeah. So do you feel like it was some kind of a big factor that kind of influenced bands positively, that way?
Well, there was a lot of downtime. There was a lot of time at home, so it
Yeah,
felt like, everybody could have been writing. So we just took advantage of the downtime because it was interesting too because nobody was touring, so you didn't feel like you were missing something.
exactly. You were like, okay, so I watched all the seasons of this and that. What I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna write something, gonna record something,
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make some new
Yeah.
music. So yeah, so that was yeah, that's what we were doing.
Yeah, that's great. And tell me about this. I mean, your latest release, of course, titled album, and
Yep.
that's true essence of the Ignite. That's what I mentioned, like in the beginning. Like that's the true sound that you maintain for years.
Right.
And it seems like when I was listening to it, there was a lot of great energy while you were creating it. And what is the key aspect of it, actually?
Well, I mean, I think with every record that we do anyways, is that you want to have the sound of the band somewhat stay the same, but also at the same time you want to have something new, something exciting. So it's always a challenge, I think, to create something that doesn't sound exactly like the music you made before, because I
Yeah,
think that gets a little bit boring. If the band just makes something the same every time. I think for us that it's important to make something exciting for ourselves first, and
yeah.
that and make a challenge to on that level. But yeah, so that's the biggest thing is you want it to sound like Ignite, but you want it to be fresh.
Yeah, and you want to maintain the same quality, which be like hard as hell, probably. I believe, right?
Yeah, again, it just comes to a lot of work, songwriting and rehearsing and working with your producer on pre-production and changing the songs, making them better, rewriting them, and yeah, and just preparing for the recording. This was, it's very interesting. We recorded this album very fast. This was probably one of
Yeah.
the fastest albums we've ever recorded. We were only in the studio for like 14 days, and then the album was finished. So we were very prepared, and yeah, and it was cool when we finally heard the final product that we were very, very happy with the results.
Do you think it is probably related to the factor that you reunited with Cameron Webb, right? As you
Okay.
mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cameron's like the unofficial member of Ignite. We've been working with
yeah.
him for, I think since 1999 was the first time we were working in a studio with him. So it's almost 25 years now we've been working with Cameron, and he's very critical of our songwriting. He's very critical of our playing, and he's putting his name on the album. And so it's important for him to make the best songs and the best album as possible. He doesn't want to put his name on something he's not proud of, also. So yeah, we love working with Cameron.
Yeah, he was working with Motorhead, right?
Yeah,
As far as I know. Yeah, yeah, probably many others, I
no
suppose. Yeah.
effects, no effects, Pennywise, Alkaline Trio,
Yeah.
Megadeth. Yeah, so many bands.
Great, great. So that was that speed up the process and the fact that you already knew what you were doing, right? So it was basically about the recording. You had it prepared, right?
Very much so, yeah. We went in with a lot of songs, and then we've, probably at the end, I think we went in with 13 songs to record. We put 10 on the record. So yeah, it was we had done the work.
Great, great. And tell me, So besides the situation in the world, like personal experiences and favorite musicians, can you say that some other things had a strong influence on your music? Like, for example, it can be art, it can be books, any other thing that is not related to all of things mentioned before.
Well, I think, where we come from, Orange County is
Yeah.
has a huge influence on our music because we took direct influence from a band called Uniform Choice, this melodic hardcore band from the 80s, and other bands that have come from Orange County like Social Distortion and the Adolescents and so many amazing punk and hardcore and metal bands have come from this area that it was that's what a lot of the influence I think for Ignite comes from is like the bands from this scene.
Yeah, yeah. I was just also thinking maybe you have read also some kind, some good book, or you have seen some great movie, and that left a huge influence on you, and you were like, okay, I'm just gonna write about it. I was always curious about how art, what art people like, and music is always connected
Sure.
somehow, right?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
definitely, like, so our guitar player Nick, who writes a lot of our lyrics, is a definitely has read a ton of books and takes a lot of influences from some of his favorite authors. So yeah, that definitely factors in to the songwriting and the words.
Yeah, that's so cool. And tell me, what is it like to work with Eli? I felt like he's a great choice for you, and it seems like you all together, as I said, you have great energy.
Yep.
I mean, how does it look like? And what was your time like when you are together? It doesn't matter, either in the studio or somewhere else, like chilling or whatever.
I mean, it's a really good situation now with the band. We're all really good friends. We go when we're on tour, hang out together, go to dinner together. On the off days, going to the beach together. So it's like it's kind of something that was missing for a long time for Ignite. It was like that in the beginning, but I mean, 25 years is a long time. Um, to be in the same band with people and you can grow apart personally, musically, in a business sense. So I just now everybody's on the same page. We're all really just having fun doing this again, and it's been great. That's been one of the best things about having Eli in the band is that it just feels like it's a really cool team now.
Yes, yes. Do you have some, activities together? You said you're friends, you go fishing, camping, I don't know, like some chilling moments. I am always curious about it.
Well, we love going on off days if we're near the coast, especially in the summer, like Italy,
Yeah.
France, Spain. We always find ourselves at the beach, going in the water, having a good time at the beach. We all live by the beach here in California, so it's kind of what we like to do.
Yeah, I'm jealous
So,
of it. Sorry, I I'm very far from the beach actually. I don't even have. I mean, we have some kind of lake, but when I hear someone lives at the beach, oh my God.
yeah, I mean, Southern California is amazing. We're really lucky that, we got the chance to be born here and grow up here. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
So tell me about it. I was also thinking about this. Do you feel like chemistry between the band members and, for example, like eclectic music taste? Do you consider them important factors for making great songs and being a great band? I feel like that's very important.
Well, I mean, everybody in this band listens to such different things. Like we all love a lot of like some of the punk and hardcore bands, like classic Suicidal Tendencies, Bad Religion. We love this stuff, but like we have a couple guys in the band that are very into metal, and our guitar player Kevin's way more into kind of like indie punk stuff, and me and Nick are all over the board. So we come from very different roots, all of us, but yeah, I mean, I think we pull from all those influences, helps create the songs that we write. I think the more, um, different influences we have always it helps.
Yeah, and I feel like the better chemistry, and also the more eclectic music taste you have, it opens more space for creating something beautiful. I guess.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah.
can because yeah, different influences come from different places, definitely.
Yes. And tell me about the inspiration for the future album. Like, do you have something already in your mind? Like, do you feel like inspired? And do you feel like you can experiment with some new elements in your song? How did you imagine all that if you have something in your mind right now?
Yeah, we've actually already started writing songs for the next record, and
Like,
really, they're very, very different right now. I'm sure as the album gets closer to being uh, finished, that some more traditional sounding Ignite songs will pop up. But I think it's always good to experiment a little bit because you
yeah,
always want to surprise, like I said earlier, you always want to make something fresh and you always want to kind of surprise yourself and the fans with something a little bit different each time that's fun and exciting. But yeah, so we're just writing all kinds of crazy music right now. So it's always a fun period, I think, during the songwriting process when we start. You just have some crazy ideas to go with.
yeah. Would you consider like adding some new instruments or maybe even some blues elements, some jazzy things? I feel like you could definitely add it, but it's the matter of combining it. I feel that can be very tricky task, right?
Yeah, I mean, we at one point did an acoustic song on an album that was very different for us, and we just decided that we thought the song was very good and it belonged on the record. And it's always a risk a little bit to do something different, but I, people really love the song. So I think, that's the same. If we come across something that we really feel is different, but we want to integrate it into the music, like, yeah, it's just whatever fits and whatever inspires us.
Exactly. And do you have a desire, for example, if you could imagine doing some kind of a project, but that is totally different from what you're doing right now? It can be whatever, it doesn't have to be related to music. Do you have some crazy but good ideas about it? Does it ever, cross your mind?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us, like our singer does some completely different. He's an actor, so he's on television. I have, I play ice hockey. Other guys surf, skateboard. So we're always doing kind of different stuff, but it's mostly the stuff that we kind of grew up doing. So, but yeah, our hobbies and our interests are pretty widespread, I think, in the band.
Okay. Okay, cool. And tell me, well, how do you imagine the future of music, and what do you think about today's music scene in general? I mean, doesn't have to be related to this genre specifically, just like in general. What are thoughts on this? And like when we compared it to the music back then, like what has changed for good? What has changed for worse?
Well, it's pretty interesting now. The attention span of people is pretty short.
Yeah.
So it's you've used to see these albums with 15, 17, 18 songs on it. Now everybody makes albums with 10 songs. A lot of people don't even release albums anymore. They just release singles. So you don't really need an album anymore. You just need a single song and a video, and that's good enough. But so that's a little bit different, I think. But for us, I think it's important to always, make complete albums. That's what our goal is always. We always want to put out at least, like 10 songs on a record and have a little bit of a theme and a whole album. I think for us, that's always been an important thing, but that's changed. And obviously, we talked about the technology changing, how everybody's. I think a big thing when I was a teenager, I was listening to one style of music, and that was it, and it was very strict. And now, when I talk to my friends' children who are teenagers, they listen to everything in their phone on iTunes or their Apple Music or their Spotify. They listen to from Queen to you know Rihanna to it's so widespread now what teenagers are listening to, and it seemed like when I was younger, it was a little bit more confined to the genre of music that you were comfortable with.
Yeah, when we were starting with metal, it was kind of, no one could say that they were secretly listening to, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix. You can't simply listen to Jimi Hendrix and, I don't know, Immortal. No, no, no,
Well,
it's not allowed.
well,
I mean,
what about Madonna? I liked Madonna when I was in high school, but it wasn't cool to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I like all of that. I was just, yeah, I mean, it was kind of, we were teenagers, I guess, all of us when we were starting, and I guess it wasn't cool. There was rarely a person who told, oh, you know what, I'm into Bee Gees, and people be like, get off,
Yeah,
back off,
yeah, yeah. It's so to me, it seems like that's different now. That's changed a lot.
Yeah, luckily. And but the bad side to this kind of thing, as I said, like people make something good, but there are so many things, and people also have that possibility to skip the song. I feel like they don't even, some of them, they don't even give a good chance to the artist. They just, okay, I'm gonna skip this. Okay, skip this. No, that's not for me. You couldn't do that back then, right? It wasn't
Well,
really,
yeah, when you went to the store and you had your money to buy a CD,
yeah,
you bought one CD and you took it home and you listened to every song until you knew every song like personally. And yeah, it's just different now. It's you don't have to go
yeah.
to a store and spend your money and take a risk on buying a CD and maybe it's going to be not good or good and so it's just yeah, different time now. I think it's so much better the way that music is available to everybody.
Yeah, that's I hope we will not see the bad side. I just hope, I mean,
Right.
in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and tell me about your previous tours, and what was the most memorable experience for you back then when it doesn't, I mean, like when you started a career, to the latest days, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, it was at the beginning, the first time we went to Europe was 1994, and the band was just beginning, and it was a bit of a surprise that we had the opportunity to go to Europe. We were on a record label in Germany that was helping push us, so they um, asked us to come on tour, and yeah, we thought maybe it would happen once or twice. And it was just so much fun. It was like a party, and yeah, we were just happy to be traveling, playing music, and it wasn't really a business yet. So the early days were really fun because it was pretty innocent and it was just kind of like having fun, the whole time. And then as the band's becoming more popular and you're realizing the path of your career is changing, then you take it more seriously and you start dealing with lawyers and managers and
Yeah.
these things that take a little bit of the fun out of it, to be honest, at times. But like I said, with the team, the guys we have now in the band, like touring for me feels again like it's back in the early 90s. We're just out there having fun and making friends and just really enjoying being in a band together.
Yeah, I feel like also that's one of the things that happened after COVID. Like, everyone, I was like, even I told myself, okay, I'm not going to skip any concert
Right.
anymore. Like, as long as I have money. So last year I was watching Deftones, Tool, Gojira, this year
Yeah.
Bad Omens, and I'm hoping for more. Like, I just wanted to end it so badly, and I feel it was for musicians like that as well. Like people just couldn't wait, to go. Right?
Yeah, we missed a lot of concerts, not only playing, but for me
Yeah.
personally, I love going to see music live. So not seeing a show for 2 years was strange. It was
Yeah.
very strange. And yeah, getting back out on the road and playing these shows has been amazing. And then also at home, going to concerts has been really cool too. So yeah, it was a crazy time. We're all glad that it's over.
Okay. And there's also one important question, I believe, for all the fans. Tell me, do you generally go to the merch table, sign the merch? You have those kind of signing sessions. How does it feel like you're doing that? Of course, right? I
Yeah,
feel yeah.
sometimes we're selling our own t-shirts.
Cool.
Like we have a show coming up on Friday here in California with TSOL and Voodoo Glow Skulls, and like we'll probably just sell our own t-shirts and be hanging out, and it's normal, just to be out there and hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, I feel it's cool, and fans, greatly appreciate it. I know a lot of my friends who travel long distance just to see the band, and they don't get a chance to talk, nothing. So I think when fans see that, they even appreciate it more. It's like a true friendship vibe.
Yeah, and it was funny. So when I was younger, of course, when I was younger, starting off when I was first going to concerts, going to big concerts at the arenas and stuff and seeing bands. And it just seemed like such distance between the artist and the fan. And I remember the first concert ever I went to where I saw a person who was on stage talking to somebody in the crowd. I thought it was crazy. It was a band called the Dead Milkmen, and show was probably in 1989, and they played a small club here in California. And after the show, the guitar player just sat on the front of the stage and was talking to the kids at the show. And I thought this was incredible. I was like, wow. I was like, this is amazing. Look at these people talking to the guy on stage. And then I realized that it doesn't have to be this whole, detached thing that like it's cool when the artists hang out with the fans and stuff.
I agree on that,
But
definitely.
that was my first experience seeing that, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that is really super cool, definitely. And I see you have planned a lot of events this year. What can you tell me about the upcoming tour?
We're gonna be going to Europe again in the summer for some festivals, which is always great. Obviously, we're going to be coming to Novi Sad for the Exit Festival, which we're very excited about. We
Me
never had the
too.
chance. Yeah, we never had the chance to come there yet. So it's going to be the first time in like 30 years for the band to come to Nova Sad. And like I was telling you before the phone call, um, or before the interview, that some of the earliest letters we got in the mail were people from Nova Sad, Ignite fans that would see the address on the back of the CD and write letters to us and asking us to come and play. So we're sorry it took 30 years, but we're finally coming.
Yeah, it's forgiven, and we can't wait to see you, of course,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be good. It's good. It looks like an amazing festival too.
yeah. What about the other events? And also, what bands are you hoping to see? Is there some band you can't wait to see? I mean, at the festival?
I think we're playing the Exit Festival. We're playing with Prodigy, which is pretty cool. I don't know which day they're playing, but we played with them a couple times at festivals in Europe. That's pretty cool. I think, in on some of the other festivals, we're playing with Rancid and Hatebreed and
Whoa.
some of our friends in bands like that. So that's the cool thing for me about festivals in the summer in Europe is that every day is on the weekends is different festivals, and you always run into your friends from different parts of the world. UK bands and bands from the New York and the East Coast, and yeah, just people from all over the world you see. That's one of my favorite things about festivals is hanging out with your friends backstage.
Cool. Yeah, that I feel it's gonna be lit, seriously. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And would you mention other events that are really important, like beside the Exit Festival? I have seen you plan the American and Europe tour as well. You can also announce some important dates. I think it will be significant for all the fans.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing like the Mighty Sounds Festival. We're playing a cool festival in Italy called Rock and Ring. Um, I mean, you can go to ignitebandofficial.com and see like all the dates and everything. We have like festivals in Germany and yeah, all over. So there's gonna be it's gonna be a fun summer.
Yeah, I feel that definitely. And is there some important message you would like to tell to your fans for the end?
Well, I mean, just kind of like I said before, so we've already started writing new material and we're hoping to record this year. That's the plan is to record in 2023 and have a new album out by 24. So we're trying to keep the time between albums a lot shorter than it used to be. So yeah, we just wanted to let everybody know that new music is coming.
Okay, cool. So I would also like to say to people, stay tuned and follow Ignite on all social platforms and be ready for the festivals. Oh, cute dog.
Piper was taking a nap here while I was doing the interview. She doesn't mind when I'm talking and doing the
Oh,
interviews. Look at her. She
sorry if
was,
we
oh,
woke you up.
did I wake you up? Okay, I'll put you back down. She's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can easily, go back later to Netflix dog and chill. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, no
to-
problems.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally. On a rainy day here in California.
yeah. What else to do, right?
Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so thank you so much for the interview.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Thank you
was
for
a
your time.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
me too.
too.
Thanks.
And I hope you will have a great rest of the day and hope to see you at the festival.
Yep, we'll be there. So you have a great night. It's already 9 o'clock there almost for
Yeah,
you. And yeah, so have a great night and thank you for your time.
thank you too. And see you soon. See
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.